This is going to be a slightly more unusual show than normal, which is to assume that we actually have a normal type of show for this. Work with me here. I had a script. I had a full thing ready to go. I was going to do a skit with the kitty cat over here. But after rereading it today, not so much. A little condescending. I decided to just chuck it. Instead, we're talking from the gut here. We're just going straight from the heart. And what I want to talk to you guys about during this particular episode, helping some people out. You might be wondering what exactly spurred this on. Well, this year I'm jumping into something called Extra Life, which is not going to date this show at all, I understand. But on October 20th, 2012, they're going to start at noon Central Standard Time, and we're going to try to run 24 hours straight of online gaming, live streaming the whole thing, and we're going to be raising money for the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. And this kind of got me thinking, well, okay, yeah, a lot of people are like, okay, that's kind of nice, you know, what do you want from me, this, that, and the other thing. But I really want to talk to you guys about charity. I want to talk to you guys about gamers making the world a little bit of a better place. And this is where it kind of got condescending, because I understand. I've kind of fed in the past the stereotype that gamers are selfish, self-absorbed, egotistical, whatever. But in all honesty, we do good things. What I'm showing you here is something from Child's Play. This is something that the gaming industry does to help kids out. Think of it as like a toy drive, but with Xboxes and PlayStations instead of teddy bears. And this is something that everybody from the independent studios to the AAA studios do. They donate product, they donate time, they donate money, they donate what they can. Now the cynical-minded amongst us are probably going to say, oh, they're just doing it so they can get a tax break, but I think there's more to it than that. One thing that I've learned in my time playing MMOs, we are social. Even if you don't talk to anybody, even if you do nothing but play on your own, you're going to play up with a team one of these days, and when you do that, you're going to be interacting. You get to know your guildmates. You get to know people that you hang out with all the time in these virtual worlds. You get a connection to them. And eventually you start hearing the human sides of their stories, the bad stuff that happens, and you want to do something. Or sometimes you just want to do something good, you know, put some good karma back into the world. That's perfectly acceptable too. And that's where we find things like the Get Well Gamers Foundation. These guys donate PlayStations, Xboxes, and Nintendo games to hospitals so that kids have something to do. And as much as that sounds trivial, I'll tell you that when you're a kid in a hospital recovering from surgery or something else and you're just waiting for your body to knit itself back together so you can go home, a little Mario Kart goes a long way. But here's a really big thing I wanted to show you guys, and this is in Second Life. And I understand Second Life isn't necessarily an RPG, but technically it kinda is an MMO. Kinda. Now every year Second Life hosts a Relay for Life, and if you're not familiar with Relay for Life, it's something they actually do in the real world. It's where teams will have people walking around a track for 24 hours and they'll be raising money for the American Cancer Society. Well, we do that here too. Just a little bit differently. Linden Labs donates a whole bunch of sims, somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 12 to 18 sims depending, and teams will set up campsites. They'll set up builds all along the track. And as you're walking around the track, you can pull off the track, go check out somebody's build, go, hey, that's kind of cool. They have items for sale with all the proceeds going to the American Cancer Society, and then you can jump back on the track and keep on walking. Now, this isn't to mention all of the hard work that these teams do before the event as well. Fundraising, doing giant snail races, believe it or not, and dances, and holding music in, this, that, and the other thing. It's really kind of a big effort. And when you think about how much money they raise, oh, yeah, I should probably mention that. Last year, 2012, they raised over $250,000. Not Linden, dollars. Real greenbacks. And when you consider that each one of those donations was made one linden at a time, basically, and each linden is like less than a nickel, that's a lot of work. And a lot of people are wondering, well, why would anybody do this? Why wouldn't you just donate the money directly? Well, there's a lot of reason for that, and there's going to be a reason for every individual gamer that's out there doing it. For some people, it's just something fun to do. It's a challenge. For some people, it's just interesting to watch. Some people, they just like walking the track and seeing what's out there. For some people, it's personal. And this is where we go back to this whole thing being interpersonal relationships. I don't want to get all sob story here because there's just no purpose in that, but just from personal experience, cancer sucks. I didn't have it myself, my mom did, and she passed away. It didn't last too long, and it just sucked. It's just no good way to put it. And honestly, I can't imagine what it would be like to be a young parent and have a doctor say to you, I'm sorry, your child has cancer, or I'm sorry, your child has cystic fibrosis, or I'm sorry, this horrible thing has happened to your child. I can't put myself in those shoes, because I can't imagine making a choice of, do I buy food or do I buy medicine for my child? I can't contemplate that, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. And this is where we're going to start the sales pitch. What I'm showing you on the screen right now is my personal Extra Life page, and here's a link to it right down here. If it's within your means, if you have the ability to do so, just go over there and donate a couple of bucks. $5, $10. It might be lunch to you guys, but to a sick kid that's in need, it's going to make a really big difference. And when you multiply your $5 with a couple thousand other people's $5, it starts to add up pretty fast. Also, those information there is that if you want to jump into the 24 hours of madness, everything's right there. You can jump in. I know 2 days is kind of short timing, but maybe next year. Just saying. The other thing, too, is here's the link of where I'm going to be live streaming. I'm going to ask you guys, if you can't donate, or even if you can donate, on the 20th, 21st, we're starting at noon. Going to go to noon on Sunday. Come in and cheer me on. I'm going to need all the help I can get. Now, the first bunch of hours, that's going to be easy. The last bunch of hours, yeah, that's when things are going to start getting difficult. You know, one of the things that I wanted to do with this is I just want to put some, for lack of a better way to put it, good karma back into the world. And yeah, I can do that on my own, but I'd really like you guys to jump in with me. What do you say?